God damn it. Hello, everyone. It is I. So it is gonna be a short stream today, only because I do have work semi in the afternoon tomorrow, while also being semi-sick. So, yeah. Hello, Merrick. And hello to Soul as well, earlier. We're gonna be doing some great the Great Ace Attorney, specifically Chronicles. At most, we'll be doing like 2 hours. Oh my god, it's the basic Cupid. Okay. I appreciate it, so I really do. But yeah, I don't remember what we're on. I just know. Oh, never mind. Yes, I do. Nah, I remember where we're on. Okay. Welcome to Bad Voice Acting with Yuma. But yeah. If I sound very, very dead, do you know why? Okay, now I slowly remember. Because this guy is in another murder trial again for like the second time in a row. Yet, here we are, after bringing him out from the last one. But his diabolic deductions, they're not of his world, of this world. They've left me. Cursed. I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts. Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in abduction, too. Yes, moving on, we have some wonderful news. Oh! The victim that we all thought was dead, he has come back to life again. Now, in the absolute worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsumi? Being charged for attempted murder is not as bad, but like, come on. It's terrible! Oh. Oh wait, did I change the mic? Because I know I accidentally pulled it out. No, okay, we're good. We're good. I'm stuck in this cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that selfish shyster. Make up your mind, or you're dead or alive. If you're going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wicked, wishy-washy William. Okay, damn. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. Yes, that makes sense, and I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was so much fun, I'd be sad to think it was our last. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Oh. Oops. Mr. Natsumi, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? Yep. I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. We are your lawyer. What do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsumi, we need to hear your side of the story. Why am I cursed like this? What happened? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsumi? There's nothing to tell, but Mr. Naruhodo's quiet. I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings, and that evening at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared. I didn't do anything wrong. I've never been to his room before. It was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Gadeb said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I brewed as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then. And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? Who was the stronger? What? It was a delightful debate. I'm sure. Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare. And the debate came very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea? No, never! Not at all! Team Juliet won, that was me, and when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear. Categorically, I can't talk. Categorically. Cursed existence. Mr. Natsumi, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I have been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. There are foreigners everywhere I look. Oh wait, fuck. Wrong person! There are followers everywhere I looked, and they all stared at me, they all laughed. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no reprise from my fears. I moved many more times than I can remember. And then 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why didn't you chose that place? It doesn't even seem very comfortable. Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me. The rent? Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. Oh no! He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I did it. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I wanted my books, and books cost money. Horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave. Or the blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I've done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was. Gosh, was it really so awful? Talking about the room, aren't we? Yep. How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsumi? What happened? At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beating eyes pouring into my back watching me. Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you? No, my mind doesn't know any tricks, it was someone else. It's because it's been one long nightmare since I was given the keys to the place. A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who died in that room leaned over me in my sleep and tried to strangle me. That really is horrible. And now I've come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated slightly by those miserable spirits in my room. You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. I know it. And that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodations with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history. Damn, that's crazy, Susato. Not you just basically saying, yeah, you're gonna die if that's the case. Jesus, girl. Jesus. But straight to the point. Phew, Susato-san knows how to make the man listen. Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Gadeb? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place. Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlords pay so much attention to the gas lamps and his attendants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusual keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his Lent rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear, no. It's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsumi. Please, forget I said anything. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he comes around, he'll be able to tell us what happened. We'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Ahem, excuse me. Hello, Inspector Gregson. I couldn't help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh, what you want to hear first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. None. Thank you, Tennessee Green, for the follow. How are ya? Mr. Shakespeare was just unconscious. He comes around now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsumi? Oh no. The bad sign is it's referring to him being a murderer, isn't it? Is that what this is happening? Hold on, pause. Like, is that what's happening here? Oh, thank goodness, it's all over done. I can leave this somber cell. Nope, yep. Sorry, no, that's not on the cats. What? Why ever not, Inspector? Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone has been responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't mean... I'm sorry to say I do. Yes. He pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsumi. Damn, that's crazy! Ah! By sweet poison did he seek to end my life. That wicked caitiff, Sosuke Natsumi. No! So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations. Oh shit. No! Well, and so once again, Sasaki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or not, or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blinds him. Oh, I didn't realize we were that close to the ending. It was just interviewing the fuck out of Sasaki. We'll save. Oh, we're at the. We have no evidence. Okay. Okay, sure. We'll cook. I guess we'll cook. We'll attempt to cook, I guess. 22nd February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in the nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. That's my line! I'm assuming that's a second, yeah. Good morning! Good morning, Mr. Natsumi. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this, another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court. I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh, what up? Mr. Natsumi, good morning. Yes, morning. So here we are again. Yes, again. Sasato, what do you got for me? Judicial Assistant Miss Pikatoba Esquires, what's the bad news? Oh dear, you heard, didn't you? Yeah, you kinda shouted that out. So, kinda not surprising. If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say. Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Miss Sato. Now what is it? Oh no. Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Vok Van Zieks. Van Zieks. Oh no. Oh no. Why is he back? The so-called Reaper of the Bailey. The most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Saseki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still. Perhaps Mr. Natsumi's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter, after all. Yes, I know what you're thinking, the legend of the Reaper that says, nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zieks is the prosecutor. Oh no. Not even if that person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. Man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal right here in the Old Bailey. Yeah, do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper? Pair of petrified peers, potentially. Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsumi. Lord Student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You more than anyone know. Don't worry. I'll be your steady, fast ally every step in the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh, yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Schnoms, I mean. Okay, that's probably for the best. Oh, if he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zieks were to notice, he'd pry on it mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling. He would. Mr. Naruhodo. You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, local student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said. I swear on this sword at my side and the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free, with honor. Oh, yes. Nah. We have no form of concept. We have no evidence. Well, no, we have some evidence, but like we don't have much. We are back here once more to commit to the saving of Mr. Natsumi. And hereby, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend. Not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. It's not just my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zieks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. And yet now, he's back in the courtroom. Though, for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Saseki-san's trial. Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? Is this not the same people from, like, the other one? Absolutely! I had the feeling that Larkin wasn't innocent before. Yeah, is this not the same people from, like, the last trial of the first game? I must say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my head refuses to sit right. Okay, yeah, I am right to think. The only one that's new is her. Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. Yeah, why is she the only one that's new? I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. Yeah, these are still the same. I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 bob tonight, or the masseuse will go through the roof. Oh. May the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to the righteous verdict. The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of the 6 members of the public. And that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defense's guilt. 6 citizens of London, chosen at random, or at least that's the idea. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Well, one isn't really new. It's literally Miss Gadeb. Very well, let's commence the trial. Lord Van Zieks, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decisions. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoings in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime, namely that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime scene, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. The detective responsible for investigating the scene and the accused himself. He was already here. Witnesses, your name and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector of the Scotland Yard Homicide Division. Sasaki. Sasaki Natsumi from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. Mr. Natsumi. Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot to my courtroom again. I remember it as if it were yesterday, the day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough. Oh, believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right, you ass. Okay. Let us double check, because we have the books, which not a good sign. We have the map still, which for some reason is still there. The cups, which no ring. The ripped note, which doesn't really have anything, and I'm surprised we have not like immediately like opened it. And then this that had like money in it. It could have been poison though. Wait, this bar of soap. When we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in this depression just here, a reddish one. Yes, you're right. I remember it too. But now the depression is completely empty. Where could have the discs have gone? Well, okay. Kinda helps me. Kinda, but we don't have evidence. We don't have the evidence. The incident occurred... Oh, wait. The incident occurred at the Gurdev's household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare. The defendant had already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of the poisoning by scramagin. He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Wrong. Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. Yeah, it's a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was. Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Now then, Mr. Natsumi. Yes. As a defendant, do you have anything to say at this junction? They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits. Good gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsumi? How? Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shakespeare's room. I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me. You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsumi. But it was so cold, my runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point. Conclusive? Go on. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused. The accused? Good grief. Order! Order! Yes, that's the crux of the whole case. If Sasaki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsumi, what do you have to say to this accusation? That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamesbury's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never. It could just be the water itself. The public water pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before. That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objections. None whatsoever, my lord. Good. Then you will give your accounts of the events of the night in question to the court now. Yes, my lord. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literacy debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Look, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, couldn't he? Striking takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't kneel over immediately after it's taken. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest leaves. The argument still stands. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather I can't talk. Crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsumi claims his tea has been harmless. Presumably, though. The teacups have been examined for traces of Hello, lizard! Of poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? Well, as it happens, no, we haven't been able to. Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance. How could you not have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. We only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funny enough. The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. But that's not true, though. Because there is, like, a residue that... I see, thank you. The matter is clear. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compartridge will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't. Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Okay. I should have something, right? 9 in the evening when I visited my neighbor. I took some tea as a gift. Nice drink. After that, I went back at around 11. Tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have closed the door. Are you sure it's actually that poison, though? How long does it take for symptoms to appear, then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison was consumed. Then the victim suffered violent compulsions, cramping, and stiffness, and eventually dies from aspirations. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There must have been a lot of different types of poisons in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. And it's further degrades Saseki-san's alibi. I have the medical record from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells it out really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well. The courts will add this report to the court records as evidence. Medical record! Okay, oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great. I want to just look at this report. Ingestion of small quantity. If he drank the entire substance being mixed into the tea, but no sample for testing. Wait, 1 p.m. occurred around... Wait. I'm gonna save. I'm a saving scum, but... Didn't he say he left around 11? But doesn't that counter what he said? Toy room at around 11. Says the incident occurred at... I'm gonna test this, and if not, I will literally just rewind. But is it not just this? Mr. Natsumi, you say it was 11 p.m. when you left to return to your room, correct? Yes. Inspector Gregson, can we rely on the information in the medical report unconditionally? Of course we can. There's no problem with that report, Sunjan. Oh, I was right. Actually, I think there's a very big problem because there's a chronological inconsistency between it and the defendant's testimony. A what? What are you talking about? According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsumi, left the victim's room at 11. Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsumi brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? What? Oh my god, that's funny. That's the same pose. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zix? He's calm. Not the wine. Not the wine. Not the wine. Why gotta be the drink? Pray forgive this courtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would be best complement the contents of my hollow chalice this luncheon. Boy, he's too calm. How could it have happened, you asked? Goodbye, Chalice. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical reports, he had said around 1:30. But that still doesn't make sense. Mr. Natsumi bought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there is a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. And in my country, there is even a more apparent saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, Counsel? Yeah, even I'm not telling you that. Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend, from someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Or the victim could have taken the poison at his own volition. What? You suggest this may have been a suicide, Counsel. Even I'm confused. What are you yapping about? Mr. Shamespeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea came and must be discounted. Please, please, but he could be lying. Oh no, what is happening? What are you yapping? Is something wrong, Lord Van Zix? I was listening to the sound of a carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? The carriage of our downfall? Is that what he's talking about? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Excuse me? Oh, is it just him? Is it just Shamespeare? I agree. Out, out, brief candle. Life but a walking shadow. Yep, that's Shamespeare. A poor player that strut and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? William Shamespeare, my lord. Alas, thus was I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With this testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Happy I am, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. What? I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsumi. Let the court now hear from the victim. Okay, what you got for me, buddy? Why is he here? Alright, so that's Mr. Shakespeare. But who's that other guy, man beside him? Yes, I think. I'm sure that we've caught a glimpse of the man before. State your names and occupation for the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound, they compose the earth. Okay, buddy. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Were the great bars to be recalled to life anew? Lo, what a magnificent man. Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shakespeare. Oh, the name's Meterman. Adon B. Meterman. I work for the Altamount Gas Company, East End branch office. Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yeah, she's right, it's him. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? He looks like he's trying to see into Saseki-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Excuse me, could we have a word? Ah! Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Goodeb's house that morning. He is a gas company employee. What does that have to do with this case? So, Mr. Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair. Oh heavens, oh hell, do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that didn't cross me and cross mine innocent lips. I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any doubt, room for doubt from the juror's mind, I'm sure. Oh god, we're gonna have to deal with that later. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me is a shape, an angel indeed. Thus be noble, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verbally honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less convenient meaning in your name. No, not at all. The jurors seem to be moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking this sept anagram idea seriously. Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions. But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare doing here? The ass man, I mean. What, me? Well now. Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested that the victim had another visitor in his room in the night of question. I went over that the victim is a compulsive liar. What? No, I didn't quite say that. This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman? Hang on. No, I'm just here. I hereby call you call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court for inclusively as possible as what happened in the night in question. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but the truth be spoken. The truth of the winterly light of my discontent. I feel like these guys are friends. I don't know why. Could just be me. The night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbor did come in the evening bearing a gift of tea, but Mary, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. Thus the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, nonetheless. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited the room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella. Okay, that doesn't help. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shakespeare's room all night? That's right. Course, the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the brick where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. The question is, sir, why? Well now, that's because he was on my list. What a piece of work as a man! Wherefore wouldst thou not share in wonderment? What are you talking about? This busybody hath not part of in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make it no more ado about his tedious words. What'd you say about me? Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. We are only on part 1! We are on part 1! What do you mean? Now counsel the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Great. Yes, my lord. Not the final. Why would this be the final? We're just here. Literally just here. Okay. I don't know what the fuck this man is yapping about realistically, so, we'll see how that goes. I guess. Come bearing a gift. But it was a drink. I did fall prostrate on my table. Is that really a prostrate on the table? Because that's technically how it is, but sure. Tea passed my lips in the late hour, nonetheless. I was outside this block's window. This guy is making me think it's him. Thing is, I feel like he had a different motive. Being the soap. But the window of that house has been completely filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right, they're all bricked up horribly. But, as it happens, there was a part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that has been opened up. I was looking through that gap. Yes, there was a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple bars of soap lined up at the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But then my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as they're breathing in my body. There's breath in my body. What's with all that... What's with all the theatricals today? Out of interest, Mr. Meaner Man, after the accused had left and returned to his lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be so sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, hence didn't dispose of the poison container himself. That's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Yes. Lucidly explained, counsel, thank you. It really was. You can't argue with this, with the logic. Hey, what am I presenting here? Okay, I'm gonna be real. I am actually really tired. So I may just call stream like very short now. Only because I am just really tired. I'm not gonna rate anyone since it's only been an hour. But I think I'm gonna just finish here. So, I appreciate anyone who stopped by. Thank you for anyone who is lurking. But yeah, I will probably stream Tuesday. We're gonna do Bread and Fred with Kaito, and then we'll do Roblox with a couple people. So yeah, I am going to hope. I think at one point I will go on a hiatus because I am just tired. But yeah, I'll try to stream Tuesday, and then we'll see what goes from there. So yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys next time if I can snooze this. But yeah, bye everyone!